Hi, welcome back to Huawei Decoded, a series where Huawei employees answer questions from the internet. Today, I'm here with Huawei's Chief Security Officer in the United States, Andy Purdy. Welcome, Andy.
It's great to be here.
Okay, Andy, you ready for your first question?
I think so.
Why is Huawei connecting cows?
Well, it's interesting. That really highlights an important point about 5G.
Okay.
So you have these tags or RFID chip kinds of things on the cow. And because 5G allows many more connections, you can have sensors like can be on a cow that could identify where the cow is, whether the cow's gotten out, kind of a find my cow feature. Okay. And so the same kind of technology can be involved in something that could tell the blood pressure or the heartbeat of the cow. Very similar to things that are on consumer devices now. And the same kind of principle of sensors that we're talking about for cows could be in agriculture and biodiversity under the sea and farming on nutrients and so forth that can have automated responses. So the cow highlights a very important concept of some of the benefits that are going to come from 5G.
Should I get rid of my Huawei phone?
No, I mean, it's a great phone. In fact, I just got a new one I'm trying out.
I don't know how you got that one though, by the way. That's they're hard to get your hands on these days.
Well, I'm excited. I'm just
Okay.
getting used to it. We've got great phones, and the consumers really like them, and it's interesting to see how they keep developing.
To be fair, this question kind of was asked in the context of security and data privacy concerns. So can you answer that again from that perspective?
Well, there have been some aspersions cast against Huawei generally, and some against the threat from our phones. And there's really been nothing specific. There's certainly been no evidence of any wrongdoing by Huawei, and it also, folks don't seem to realize the reality of kind of the communication ecosystem. You have the phones, you have the telecom operators. The telecom operators control the data. They manage the systems, they manage the data. In fact, the phone, you could say, to draw an analogy, let's say we have a pickup truck. So the phone would be the pickup truck, and you decide what you're going to put in the pickup truck. So on the phone, you decide whether you're going to add certain apps or other software. So we're just supplying the car to help bring the technology. So you don't have to worry about the abuse of phones in the way that some are suggesting.
Okay, and in that analogy, what the operators would be the roads themselves, or what is?
Well, when you get to the kind of the technology, but it's like nothing would happen without the telecom operators. If the phone's not connected to anything, it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
So the telecom operators, they manage what can access the network. They handle and have to manage how the data is used. They've got to comply with the requirements of laws and international standards. And then we, in providing the phones or in selling the telecom equipment, we in turn also have to meet certain internationally recognized standards, conformance programs, and we're all accountable to what the laws and regulations are, and we're all accountable to the businesses or consumers that we supply to. We have to meet their requirements.
Okay, so to answer your question, Internet, if you have a Huawei Mate 60 and you want to sell it to me, I will purchase it because they're very difficult to get your hands on. Otherwise, keep your Huawei phone. Okay, next question. Is Huawei watching you?
No. And you know, the suggestion that we are, again, first of all, it's unfair, but also it doesn't understand how we as a telecom equipment supplier work, how we function. We really have, in cyberspace, there's a shared ecosystem. There's shared responsibility between the telecom operators and everybody who supplies to it. So we sell the equipment to the operators. We have to meet the requirements of law, the requirements of contract, but they manage whether, how, and when that equipment is used. And the data that flows across the network, they're in charge of it. So they're the ones who have a certain level of control that we don't have. And so folks saying that we can do certain things when we can't is just not fair, and it's really not based on facts.
Okay, that kind of ties into this next question, actually. Does Huawei install backdoors?
Absolutely not. Huawei cannot install backdoors. Again, we're supplying the equipment. And for example, when you look at the ecosystem, when law enforcement wants to access data or get a court order to monitor calls, they're not coming to us as the equipment supplier. They go to the telecom operator. We have to make our equipment so they can add interfaces to allow lawful access to that data. But we don't have access to that data. And we don't have the ability to later access the networks and systems through backdoors. That's not possible. We don't do it, and there's no evidence we ever have.
Okay. Okay. So what's the risk then, though? I mean, you see in the news a lot, and then again, questions from people on the internet. Are Huawei networks secure?
Well, the fact is, it's not Huawei networks. The fact is, these are the operators' networks, the telecom, the internet provider networks. We are simply a supplier. We as a company, we have our own company network, but what you're talking about are the broader network. And we don't have that kind of access. We don't have the responsibility. We don't have that capability.
How do we then respond to this if people are worried about the security of networks? What kind of assurances, for example, do our customers have, or do their customers have?
The reality of shared responsibility, the telecom operators have certain international standards they need to meet. They've got the statutes and regulations of the countries and regions in which they do business. They're responsible by contract to their suppliers, and then they have the responsibility, the telecom operators, to decide which suppliers like us to buy from. What are the requirements for that? So we have standards, we have contractual obligations that we have to meet, and the operators manage the risk to the entire network, the potential cyber attacks, potential data breaches, all are handled by the network operators. But we have our responsibilities, and you mentioned privacy, that we, as well as our customers, have to meet the privacy requirements of individual countries and regions. And for example, the European Union has the famous GDPR, which is among the highest privacy requirements in the world. So we all are obligated, whether it's operators, whether it's suppliers, to meet those privacy requirements, and we're legally obligated to do so.
Should I trust Huawei?
Well, it's interesting when you ask about trust, because trust is really an important concept here. People have great familiarity with trust in some ways that are totally different than the cybersecurity and privacy of the internet. Bad guys can hack into good guys. And so the good guys and everyone else have to have a high set of requirements based on international standards as to what the requirements are, and there needs to be transparency, and somebody needs to be able to tell whether you're meeting those requirements, and you have to be held accountable legally and by contract to meet those requirements. So in this part of trust, it's really about suppliers providing an objective and transparent basis for knowing which products and services are worthy of trust. Zero trust, trust no one is the best way to go in cybersecurity and privacy protection.
Well, Andy, honestly, I could talk to you all day. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
And for you guys watching, if you have any questions you'd like to ask us, make sure to just leave a comment and ask them, and maybe we can get to them in the next episode.